with that. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Magic with Zuby. My name is Zuby, and if you're brand new to this show, the show is all about a little well-known card game called Magic the Gathering. So on today's show, we are doing... I didn't do it last year, I sort of did, but we are doing the annual State of the Podcast, which last year, as you know, was kind of a really messed up year for me with my house flooding and having to live in a hotel for a couple months. And you're also going to know something a little different here, too. I'm standing. And, I mean, well, if you're listening to the audio, you don't see me standing. It may sound a little different. But I'm standing, all right? If you're watching the video. Because I wanted to do something different. I just didn't want to sit in the chair and just, like, you know, talk about... I don't have a guest on today. I just want to, like, you know, stand and do something a little different. Maybe dance for you all as I'm, like, talking about stuff. Okay? So, yeah, we're doing the State of the Podcast for 2022. But before we get into that, let's get some little announcements out of the way here. This podcast can be found on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, and every other place where podcasts are available, which is like everywhere. I mean, I would be surprised if there's a program where this podcast isn't available, because I've made sure it's like everywhere. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Magic with Zuby, on Instagram Magic_with_Zuby, and on TikTok at mtgzuby, I think it is. I also have an at Magic with Zuby, but I think that was made by mistake. And then you can email me with any questions you may have at mtgzuby@gmail.com. And we are also sponsored by the amazing, the wonderful Cardsphere.com. Cardsphere, where you can buy and sell your Magic singles and sealed product. I just literally entered some money in. As of this recording, I entered some money in earlier this afternoon to my account because I still have a whole bunch of cards that I want to get. And within like an hour, 2 hours, boom, like my money was gone already because I have so many people sending me cards like that. It's insane. I love it. Even if I wasn't sponsored by Cardsphere, I would still be using them. They are just that good. We're also sponsored by Alter Sleeves. Alter Sleeves is an amazing, like, little deal here. So if you have, people like to alter cards and all that stuff. What's cool about Alter Sleeves, maybe you don't want your, Gaia's Cradle to be altered, but there's a really cool altar out there that you really like. So what they do is they make this penny sleeve with art that you can put over your card, and so your Gaia's Cradle can look all fancy and stuff. So if you go to altersleeves.com and go look at all the amazing artists there, use coupon code MAGICWithZuby on checkout, or click on the link in the show notes below, and, you get a little bit of a discount as well, too. I think it's 5% discount if you use my code. I've already seen a bunch of people use it. Thank you very much for the support. You're awesome. Thank you for anybody who's supporting me by listening, using coupon codes and stuff. I freaking love it. It's wonderful. I think that's it. So, State of the Podcast 2022. As of this recording, I think a few days ago, I had my 6-year Twitter anniversary. So that means... So, I gotta look up when... So, my first episode came out in 2016. It was either at the end or beginning... At the end of January or beginning of February. It was when Magic with Zuby first came out. And it's now 6 years. 6 years later, I'm still doing this. Holy crap. And this has been a crazy journey. Last year, I celebrated 5 years by doing a 12-hour stream. I think it ended up being 14 hours, doing EDH stream. I don't have anything planned right now to sort of celebrate 6 years. There's just a lot of stuff in the works content-wise, and then with life being busy and trying to get back to normal because of the pandemic, blah, blah, blah. I know. But I might do something. I don't know. It's not going to be anything big because while 6 years is still impressive, it's not as exciting as like a 5-year anniversary, right? But yeah, I mean, that's cool. It's shit. I've said this many times during the show. Like, I thought I would have made it like 3-6 months. It's crazy. So yeah, so as you see, I'm standing here. You can get a better look at my shelf here, my little Legend of Zelda shelf, which I have. Oh no, little Zelda. Oh no, little Link there. His arm's off right now. But see my shelf of Zelda, which I may take that down. I do want to get a curio cabinet one day in here, because I may need to use this for more games or more books, as you can see, because my D&D book collection. So these are all the D&D 5th edition books, as you see here. And then below here, I've got the D&D 1st through 4th edition books, which I've also got Star Trek, Call of Cthulhu, Pathfinder, 1st edition. And then I've got another shelf over here, which you can't see. It's on the other side. It's got a whole bunch of Pathfinder 2nd edition books, because I kind of really like Pathfinder 2nd edition as well too. So I don't know why I'm rambling on about that, but anyways, so state of the podcast 2022. As you have noticed, I have not been releasing episodes as often as I was. A lot of it is due to, not only work schedule getting busy. We had a pretty crazy personal life event near the end of last year, which I'm not going to get into. It's just, I'm remaining private. There's a few out there that do know what it is, but it's a very private thing, and it's something separate from when we had the house flood and all that last year. Just, yeah, we're still going through that. So so really what stopped so much last year was not only the house flood happening, being displaced out of our house for like 2-3 months, then going through construction here. And, I started getting back on the bandwagon, in May, going through most of the summer, started streaming more, and then just work, boom, hit me like a truck. And it's been insanely busy with work. My travel has started to pick up a little bit. I traveled to Texas and LA and had to spend a week a little bit down south of me in Florida for about a week. So my traveling is starting to pick up in the middle of the pandemic. Yes, I'm vaxxed and boosted. Blah, blah, blah. I know. So, I have to be for my job, because I work in healthcare. It's, so yeah, it's work. Work has definitely been the primary factor for not being able to release as much. And not just due to the traveling, it's just, I'll be honest, I'm getting to a point where I'm feeling kind of burnt out a little bit. Doing this for 6 years, you try to, you just look at the beginning of this podcast, right? And just all the differences I've done, where this was first, trying to get into competitive Magic, what that mindset is like, going from casual to competitive. And then I've done so many interviews with so many amazing people out there. And now it's just, I'm feeling in a point now with the podcast, like, what do I really want to do with it? The interviews are great and all that, but I feel like the pool of people you can interview feels so small. There's a lot of great content creators out there, a lot of, competitive pro players out there, but let's be honest, pro play is all but dead in Magic now. The pandemic's pretty much sped up that death. Content creators out there, I see this every year where there's so many new content creators coming out year after year. I can't keep up. I've said it before many times in other interviews. I can't keep up with them all. I don't know who the heck who is anymore. I don't know. I can't keep up with it. And it's hard to gauge, because there's been people I've brought on where it's like a month later, they just stop doing content. And it's not that I don't want to showcase them or anything, but it's also, I don't know. It's hard because you just want to be able to showcase good people. I don't know where I'm trying to go with that. It's, like I said, it's a tough balancing act of who I want to bring on here and just what are we going to discuss. Because as you know, if you've been around me for a while, I don't discuss just the normal everyday Magic where we go over decks and deck list and how to build stuff and blah, blah, blah. If you want that kind of content, there is definitely people out there. I just love talking about more the casual side of everything. You all know that by now. So I'm kind of like in a in sort of a rut right now. Like, what do I want to do with this podcast? Like, what do I want to continue doing with it? How can I keep bringing cool content that I enjoy doing that I want to share with you all, right? So that's sort of where we at with it. It's still going to do interviews. I'm still going to do stuff, but it's probably not probably definitely going to be lessened. I'm not going to release as many episodes. And there's a good reason for that as well, too, because that sort of leads into my next thing I want to talk about. If you follow me on Twitter, and I think even on Instagram, I'm not really announcing on TikTok, because I'm really bad at TikTok, because I don't really use it a whole lot. I like making cringe stuff, though, because it's cringy. The dancing stuff. So, I am recording this on a Tuesday night, so February 1st. This should be coming out this Friday, the 4th. On February 2nd, it is going to be the first episode of the D&D show Pixie and I have been working on producing, called D&D For Normies, The Price of Progress. We've already recorded episode 1, and we are premiering it live on Twitch, on twitch.tv/mtgzuby. So by the time this comes out, the premiere had already gone live, and I don't have an exact date of when we're going to release it on YouTube and on the audio of it as well. So stay tuned for that. It's definitely not going to be released by Friday. Probably not until later this weekend or next week. But that is super exciting. Like, we have been working on this show since, I want to say, late September, early October. We've been working on this show. I'm DMing it. Pixie's a player, but she has helped with a lot of the overlay of it. Just a lot of the, the naming, the art of it, and all that stuff. It's been great. And it's been a really good collaborative effort. Our players are freaking awesome in it as well, too. The first episode, I was so fucking nervous. So nervous. Like, I was so nervous. Like, the night before, I couldn't freaking sleep. I couldn't sleep at all. Like, it was just, oh my gosh, it was insane. Like, how much I couldn't sleep. And just thinking of all the stuff in my head on, not so much like, oh no, if they do this, then X will happen, like that kind of stuff. It's more, I want to make sure that I'm presenting myself clearly, talking clearly, and, getting a lot of those finer details down. But once we got into the gist of things with the recording, I got a lot more comfortable, and you're going to see me, I laugh my ass off so much during it because I can't help it. These players are really good at what they do, and I had such a fun time in that first episode. I can't wait to do more. So what that also means is Magic for Normies is on a bit of a hiatus as well due to D&D for Normies. The show, we're planning on doing about 8 to 10 episodes of it. It all kind of depends on how quickly the players get through the campaign of it. We are playing on Roll20 as well. And we're, going to be live streaming it on Twitch, uploading it on YouTube, putting the audio out there as well, too, on this RSS feed on Magic with Zuby. So it's really, really exciting. It's been something I know I talked about maybe a year or two ago during one of the other State of the podcasts where I want to do an RPG show. There were some attempts at it and didn't really pan out in the background, but now this one, it's actually happening, and I'm so excited, and I want to do more RPG content. What that means exactly, I don't know. I know I talked about a year or two ago, I was writing an adventure book. I still am. Pretty much the progress has all but halted on that. Like, I've pretty much got the rough draft down of it. Like, I've written out the rough draft, and then I just never really went back to it because life happens. And then really at the same time when I finished the rough draft, we started working on this show, and that's been, as far as D&D content goes, that's been sort of like my primary thing I've been working on, and I'm so excited about it. So yeah, I want to branch out doing more content, RPG content. So that could mean other future D&D streams. I want to stream more of it. I want to do, like, maybe stream some one-shots or something, bring on random players, especially people who've never played D&D. Those are sometimes my favorite players because they're, like, the most wild card out there sometimes. But yeah, like I said, Magic for Normies is still happening. It's just on a bit of a hiatus right now while we're doing D&D. And I'm still streaming every so often as well too. There is just tonight I just streamed some Magic Online. And I do plan on streaming Magic Arena as well too, mainly just drafting though. I really want to stream more drafting because I'll be honest with Arena, I'm just not really interested in anything else with Arena. With Alchemy coming out, that really killed any interest I had in Arena. Besides drafting, I don't really care to use Arena at all anymore. I'm just being honest. It's Alchemy kind of killed it because I played nothing but Historic on there. I never really cared for Standard. So, and it sucks that Alchemy really affected Historic on there, and I don't care to play it. I don't care to play it anymore. So yeah, I think that about does it for discussions of the podcast and additional content. What else has been going on? Sort of described a little bit about my life situation. Don't want to get into that too much. I know I'm going to be traveling more this year. That's a given for work, and I'm hoping for some pleasure. It all depends, really. God, with all this Omicron shit and God, I'm just so tired of this pandemic, right? I'm just so tired of it. Just, I mean, I've said this before. Florida, the pandemic's basically been over in Florida and all that stuff. It's I'm at a point now where I barely leave the house. I am trying to do walking more because I know I gained weight, especially last year. Oh, I know I gained a bunch of weight last year. Last year has been one of the most stressful years I've had in a very long time where, being displaced, worrying about fucking money costs, and then especially the shit that happened at the end of last year. Fuck! So I've been trying to exercise a little bit more. I can't weight lift anymore. Carpal tunnel right here and bad shoulder. But yeah, I've been walking. I've been trying to get some cardio in, at least when I can. Like the past week, so far I haven't done anything. It's been too fucking cold. Yeah, Florida. Ha ha ha. It doesn't get cold in Florida. Bullshit, okay? When you're not used to cold at all, okay? Sorry I don't live in a place where, it gets negative 50 degrees Fahrenheit and it snows, 50 inches. Sorry, I live in sunny Florida. So when it gets down to the 30s and 20s, I'm freezing my ass off and I don't have clothes that can help keep me warm because, like I have this friggin', hoodie. That's about it. I've got hoodie. I can wear like extra shirts and, jeans or sweatpants or something. That's the extent of what I've got. I don't have, scarves and mittens and shit, okay? So when I say like I haven't been able to go outside really a whole lot lately because it's been too fucking cold. It gets in the 20s and 30s at night, especially like the past week and a half. I can't do it. Can't do it. Sorry. Make fun of me all you want, Ha ha ha, Florida doesn't know cold. I know this, okay? I get you. I get it every fucking year, okay? Sorry. Yeah, no, that was a bit of a rant, right? Yeah. So yeah, no, I gotta lose this fucking weight. Gotta do it. Gotta do it. Oh yeah, gotta do it. Cause I was looking at some pictures of myself in the beginning of 2021. Face looked a little bit slimmer, and then boom, house flood, and it's like, oh fuck, like what am I doing with my life? And then you just sort of spiral into a depression and fucking, get yourself back out of it. But then the damage has already been done. What am I talking about? I don't know. Let's move on. Plans for travel, since there's like no any kind of announcements for Magic Fest or GPs or any of that shit. I've got no plans. I mean, I know like Star City Games is doing some cons and all that shit, but I don't care. I don't care about any of those. It's like if there, I know there was a Commander Fest in Vegas a couple months ago, but I feel like they announced it like 2-3 months before it happened. I'm like, fuck, I can't do that. It's around the holidays. I can't do that. Yeah, and so as far as like Magic related travel for the podcast, nothing's gonna happen. I don't know. What do I tell you? If there's, whenever events start happening up again, We can discuss that more. So that's it. Besides traveling for business and pleasure, like, family vacations or whatever, no, I got nothing. I got nothing, sorry. Um, and then we can round this off with some goals for the podcast. Goals for the podcast. It has been my goal for like 6 years now. You can say whatever you want. I've had some really good years of downloads and listens and all that stuff. I would love to get to 1 million downloads. It is pretty much stalled the past year and a half because I didn't receive that many downloads last year, and which is understandable because I didn't release a whole lot of episodes comparatively to previous years because of just all the shit. We're at almost 700,000 downloads now for the podcast. I mean, realistically, when I look at my stats and analytics for year by year downloads, I'm not going to get 300,000 this year. I mean, that's just not going to happen. But fuck, it's like before I even ever end this podcast, it's like I'm going to keep going until I get 1 million downloads. I'm like, there, I'm close. I'm close. It's like, it's definitely there with it. That's like a goal, okay? It's definitely attainable because we're more than halfway there. We're like almost 3/4 of a way there. It can be done, all right? That'd be a goal. I mean, I know that means I'd have to release more episodes and blah, blah, blah. I want to do more live roundtable discussions that I did a few in December. Those were fun as hell. I had a blast doing those. Like those were really impromptu, right? Something happened, and whatever EDH or whatever MTG Twitter drama bullshit that happened, and I'm just like, all right, let's have a discussion with everybody and talk about it. Boom. Those were a lot of fun. It's just once again trying to plan those out, and with the D&D show, that's been sort of taking up all my content creation time of it. But now that maybe the D&D show is more in a swing of things, where it's now that we're actually doing the show, and there's only so much prep work I can do, and now that I've already come out with all the layouts and how we're gonna upload and premiere, blah blah blah, maybe now I can still focus on that because that's still primary, and then also still do a little bit of mtgzuby, more roundtable discussions. Those are fun. So yeah, that's really it for the podcast, right? I mean, those are really the only goals I have, is get to 1 million views, and also maybe do some more roundtable discussions, live discussions, because those are fun because you get to interact with Twitch chat as well too. So yeah, I think that about does it. It's a short episode, right? Kind of fun how I just like to boom, 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 boom. If you're listening to the audio, I just sort of did a little twirl here, right? I got to be a little careful because I don't have a lot of room where I'm standing right now. So if I like accidentally twirl too fast, I may bump into something, and I don't want to knock anything down. So it's awesome. Yeah. So we're done. We're good. We're done. Done with the episode. Thank you all for listening and watching. I probably don't say this enough, or I probably do. Maybe I don't say it enough on social media or whatever, but I really do appreciate everybody and anybody who has listened to this. I mean, if you've been a day one listener, holy fuck, I'm sorry. If you've listened from the very first episode to now, holy shit, it's changed a lot. I've changed a lot since then. Shit. My youngest daughter, we started this, she's gonna be 13 this year now, and she was 6 or 7 when we started this podcast. Holy crap. My oldest is gonna be 19 this year, so she would have been 13 or something. Holy fuck. I mean, yeah, both the kids have been on the show before during Christmas episodes or the random little interviews. So it's been a thing. It's been a journey for sure. Of course, the God. I've told my kids that one day when I'm gone, hopefully they can listen to these episodes, have a little part of me still a part of them, even though they may not know anything about what I'm talking about with magic or D&D, but they can listen to their father's voice should they ever feel lonely or want to hear me talk or anything like that. So, yeah, it's fucking 6 years. But no, thank you all again for listening, watching. I appreciate it. It's 6 fucking years, man. Holy shit. Um, it's just crazy, crazy. Thank you again. Have a great night and have a good one. All right.